Good afternoon, and thanks everyone for joining us for a look at Hotel Aguas Claras in Puerto Viejo, which is in Costa Rica's southern Caribbean coast. I'm going to share a short presentation covering logistics, what to combine this with, a little bit of the history of the area, and then we're going to turn this over to Hans and some of the staff at Hotel Aguas Claras who are going to take us on a virtual walkthrough around the property. We did this yesterday and signal was pretty good, so I think we'll be okay for the majority of it. We may have a little dropout when we walk from the hotel to the beach, but we'll see what happens. So sharing my screen. Oh, and for those of you who don't know, my name is Kirsten. I handle the Central America portfolio for Clark Catulla Representation, and I am based in Seattle, Washington, heading to Costa Rica on Wednesday. But my background right now is the beach at sunset at Puerto Viejo. Okay, so sharing this. I think you all can see that. Okay, so yeah, so starting with Hotel Aguas Claras, Puerto Viejo, which is in the Limon province of Costa Rica. This area isn't quite as well known to travelers in general, particularly travelers from North America. It's a little bit more popular among Europeans, and it's also the go-to destination for local ticos when they want a beach escape from the city. So Puerto Viejo, and then this hotel in particular, is really popular among locals. We were actually full over the weekend for Valentine's Day. We have a lot of couples having a romantic getaway right now. They were sold out last night, so hopefully by the time we get to the rooms, we'll have one or two to show to you, so you can get a sense for what the property looks like. Zooming out to a bigger picture of Costa Rica, let me use the little draw tool here. Okay, so you have San Jose, capital city, right here. And we are going to this tiny little town on the Caribbean coast, which is just north of the border between Costa Rica and Panama. If you want to drive from San Jose, it's about 4 to 5 hours. You kind of take this highway out of the city, go by to Cartago, or not Cartago, excuse me, a little bit north, and then drive down to Limon and the coast. It's a really interesting drive. You're climbing out of the San Jose Valley, going through cloud forest, dropping down to the Caribbean, going by the port of Moine, which is Costa Rica's largest port on the Atlantic side. We'll get to that in a moment, but seeing all of these like huge, miles and miles of shipping containers with Dole and Chiquita banana on it. Easier option for a lot of your travelers is flying. It's 35 minutes from from San Jose to Limon, and Sansa has regularly scheduled flights. Trying to get to those. I think I have to click out of that first. Yes, okay, so on Sansa, which is Costa Rica's commercial airline, it's a 35-minute flight from San Jose to Limon, and you can see the regular schedules that they're offering here in that table on the left. One that I really like is the San Jose Tortuguero National Park, Limon. So if you're trying to combine Tortuguero, which is a really popular national park on the Caribbean coast, known for sea turtle nesting, largest population of jaguars in Costa Rica. That's one good way to do it with this flight that kind of touches down, picks passengers up, and then continues. And then obviously private charters is a great way to get around the country too, particularly when you consider that most of the commercial flights are going to have to connect via San Jose. Zooming in a little bit on the Costa Rican coast, or the Caribbean coast, Allison earlier asked about, what do you combine it with? Why do people want to go here? And it's a really great question. So again, where's my little, let me try, oh, excuse me. Oh no, how do I, sorry, technical, okay. Let me undo those squiggles and start again. So one itinerary that I really like, so we're on the Caribbean side of the continental divide of Costa Rica. So kind of sticking to that area, as you could even sell it as like an unexplored Costa Rica combination is a great idea. The Pacquare River, all right, I'm just not going to use that. The Pacquare River runs along here towards Siquieres, which is right here. Most of you probably know Pacquare Lodge, so one really great option is to start in San Jose, go to Pacquare Lodge for 3 days, do the rafting trip here, take out at Siquieres. From here to Puerto Viejo, you're driving just about 2 hours. So you would take out, you'd have lunch on the river, take out in the afternoon. You would arrive here in time for a cocktail and dinner. So if you're combining, Pacquare and they want a beach destination, this is a really great option. I showed you the flight schedule earlier if you wanted to go up to Tortuguero National Park and combine Hotel Aguas Claras as well. And you can even combine it with Arenal with some additional driving too. Of course, if clients are chartering privately, you can combine it with anything. You can hop around Costa Rica in helicopters or private flights and do, the Atlantic and the Pacific coast. But those 3 destinations, Pacquare, Tortuguero, and then also Puerto Viejo, are I think 3 of the highlights for this undiscovered Caribbean idea. So quickly, I wanted to zoom out a little bit. And for me personally, I think the human history of that's kind of my jam. That's what I find so fascinating about these countries, and any country in general. And for Costa Rica, people don't know a lot about the cultural history and the human history of the destination. So I kind of wanted to zoom out and take you briefly all the way back to do like a very quick abridged and oversimplified history lesson. So going back to 1502, it was Columbus's last voyage to the Americas that he made. He anchored off the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica at a little place called Punta Uvita, sent his son ashore, and that's when he met a lot of the indigenous groups. They were wearing gold and their gold rings in their nose and their ears, and he saw this incredible landscape that was just mountains dripping in, impenetrable greenery. And so he came back ashore, told about the riches of the coast to his father. That's where the Costa Rica name comes from. Legend has it. And over time, Spanish settlers came to the country, but they never really developed this part of the country because of the topography. Instead, they kind of concentrated in the central valleys where they found really fertile farming area and started growing a lot of crops, one of those being coffee. Okay, so fast forward to the 1870s, Costa Rica is producing a ton of coffee, but their main market is Europe, but their only port that they can really export from is on the Pacific side in Punta Arenas. So they're moving coffee from San Jose, from the Central Valleys, by ox cart to the Pacific side. So it's not very efficient for getting coffee to their main market. So the government wanted to build a train, a railroad, to Moine, which is the port near Limon. It's this deep natural harbor. It would be a great place to get their coffee over to Europe. But they had a big problem with the tough topography. If you know anything about the construction of the Panama Canal, with rain and rainforest and issues with diseases, Costa Rica had all of that happening and affecting the ability for the government to develop a railroad. So the project kept failing, and in comes Minor Cooper Keith. And he was an entrepreneur from Brooklyn. His uncle, I think, had originally taken on the rail project. And in the 1870s, it was failing. And through a combination of just like sheer will and cunning, he eventually got the job done. He realized that he needed to bring in workers from the French West Indies, especially from Jamaica, from the Caribbean, who were used to working in this climate, who were naturally resilient against some of the diseases, employed them to build the railroad. And over the years, he was able to complete it to Limon. One of the problems he ran into is at the time the Costa Rican government had defaulted on loans and wasn't able to pay him. So he had the brilliant idea to fundraise the rest of the money for the project himself. And in exchange for finishing the project for the Costa Rican government, he had a brilliant idea. He asked for 800,000 acres along the path of the railroad and a 99-year lease on the railroad. The acres were tax-free, and over time he started growing bananas and exporting them to the growing market in the Americas. So what you have was the emergence of the United Fruit Company. Upper right-hand corner is the historical photo of their headquarters in Limon. Bottom right is what it looks like now. Left is Minor Cooper Keith. And with United Fruit Company, you really have the first multinational corporation of its time. And kind of like Amazon or any of the big tech companies that we talk about today that are always in the news, this was the first company globally that had a total monopoly on producing the product, taking it to market, sales channel distribution, along with all of the influence that it had on the governments. And that was all happening right here in this part of Costa Rica. NPR's Throughline has a really great podcast about United Fruit Company and Minor Cooper Keith. It's fascinating if you're into history, so I'll send that to you afterwards. So when you had people from particularly Jamaica coming over to work on the railroad, they're bringing with them their culture, their music, their food, just kind of their different zest for life. That was very different than the Spanish colonial settlers in the rest of Costa Rica. And due to restrictions in the government that did not allow people of Black ancestry or a lot of the Chinese workers that were brought over to own land and move throughout the country, these individuals, they stayed in this part of Costa Rica, and it just developed this really rich cultural heritage that has Afro-Caribbean descent. And you'll see this in the music, in the calypso and reggae being played, in the food that you'll eat, in the celebrations that they have. Limon has the largest carnival celebration in Costa Rica, clearly not happening this year. And it imparts a totally different vibe to this part of the country. Pura Vida is the national motto, so Costa Rica as a destination is very laid back. In Puerto Viejo, it might be even more so. You have these long flat roads. Bicycles are the preferred method of transportation to get around. And then you have a different look to this part of the country too in terms of the natural beauty. You have these white sand beaches. You have super, super clear water. This picture is from Cahuita National Park, which is a really popular excursion for a day. It's a great place to hike, see wildlife, not see any people like you might in some of the popular Pacific parks, and then go snorkeling from a fisherman's boat out on these protected reefs. For your wildlife fanatics, particularly your birders, the great green macaw is an endangered endemic species that is found here. There is a breeding and rehabilitation program that's called the ARA project. It's just a short walk from Hotel Aguas Claras, and it's where you can go and see these birds being raised and then reintroduced into the wild. And often they'll be flying over the hotel and eating the beach almonds that grow in the trees on the property. Amazing snorkeling, really clear water with beautiful reefs. People are always asking about snorkeling on the Pacific coast, and there's a couple destinations, but for those like really bright tropical fish and clear water, this is definitely the place to do it. This is a quick aerial shot of the beach outside of Hotel Aguas Claras. Not sure if you can see my cursor, but there's this pathway on the bottom. You can just see the dirt from the air. That's the walk that you would take from the hotel. And then you emerge on Playa Chiquita, this beautiful little beach that has amazing reefs that you can swim and snorkel in right off of, just a 3-minute walk from your bungalow. Other activities that are popular in the area, it's really great for surfing. There's beginner breaks, but it's really good for immediate and advanced surfers. There's the ARA project for Macaws. The Jaguar Rescue Center is across the street. This is a rehabilitation center for wildlife that have in particular been injured by power lines. That's a challenge in Costa Rica where you'll have sloths or monkeys using them as kind of highways to get over the streets. They suffer electrical burns, and this organization treats them and rehabilitates them and releases them into the wild when they can. But you can go on a private tour and get really up close with baby sloths and baby monkeys. It's just a fun experience. And then there's great kayaking here as well, down towards Manzanillo, which is a wildlife refuge to the south of the hotel, and outside of Punta Uva, where Columbus dropped anchor back in the 1500s. There's incredible coastal kayaking, and you can go into a lot of different estuaries as well. So all of these kind of amazing features of this part of the country, they inspire a lot of creatives, and the owners of Hotel Aguas Claras are no exception. This is Elizabeth Steinworth and her daughter, Elena Romancer. You may have read that Hotel Aguas Claras is very much a mother-daughter passion project. Absolutely the case here. They grew Elena and then Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a well-known multimedia artist in Costa Rica. Elena studied in Parsons, worked in PR and fashion in Europe. And the two of them had a lifelong love affair with this part of Costa Rica. They had always traveled here looking to, just for inspiration and as a getaway. They decided they wanted to work on a project together. Their initial idea was to start a recording studio. And as ideas do, this one eventually took on a couple iterations and turned into restoring an existing property into a high-end boutique hotel, which this part of the coast had never seen. So this is an aerial shot of the hotel, the grounds, kind of how we're gonna do the tour. We're gonna take you through the lobby and main building that's very Victorian in architecture. That's what you see here on the left. You can see the pool on the right. That's where Papaya Restaurant is. And then the Pavlova Suites are these row of bungalows that are in the white rectangular building on the right. And then all these little roofs you can see here are the 1 and 2 bedroom bungalows, and then the 5 bedroom house, Casa Floralia. Hotel Aguas Claras has 6 1 and 2 bedroom bungalows, 6 Pavlova Suites, which are double occupancy, and then one 5 bedroom house, Casa Floralia, which would be so perfect for a couple's or like a girlfriend's getaway or a bachelor party. And then you walk this short little path through the forest and you emerge on the beach where they have DeLime Beach Club. This is the main lobby building where you'd enter the hotel and do check-in. They have wonderful bicycles available for guest use, which are stored under there. This, again, it's a combination of kind of Elena's more traditional artistic style, or excuse me, Elizabeth's more traditional artistic style. She does a lot of upcycling in her art, and Elena's design, and those two styles you see blended and then individually on exhibit throughout the very colorful hotel. If you're a lover of design hotels and details, you're absolutely gonna, just think this is so gorgeous and perfect. All of the pottery, the ceramics used in the restaurant are handmade by local artists. There's original mosaic work in all of the bathrooms. There's so many beautiful little touches that make this place really, really special. While it is not adults only, I really think it's geared towards couples, groups of girlfriends or friends traveling together. They do allow children 8 or older. And one of the design inspirations for the hotel is Wes Anderson. You can see that in kind of the fun pops of color. In terms of age demographic or who it appeals to, I don't really want to put a number on that, but it's definitely playful and fun. And it envisions itself as being part of the larger Puerto Viejo community. And that is really important for guests to know. They're not coming to, there is a gate around the property and you access it with your key card, but you're not coming to this place to be isolated like you are in maybe a traditional resort. You're coming to experience and be part of and really be inspired by Puerto Viejo. So I'm going to turn it over to Hans, hoping his video is working. Hans, can you join us? There you go.
Yes, I'm here. Can you see me?
Yes, I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Okay.
And then if you all could pin Hans's video, there should be 3 little dots in the upper right-hand corner.
There we go.
And that will keep, and I'm going to mute myself while you're touring. That will keep your video as the large one. So take it away, Hans.
Okay. Well, hello, everybody. Exciting, the ones that are back from last week, no, 2 weeks ago when we were in Arenas del Mar. So we're excited to be here on the Caribbean coast and showing you Aguas Claras. So I took out my mask so you can hear me, and I'm going to start the tour, turning my camera around. So I'm on the terrace here, and as I showed you while we were getting ready, this is the restaurant Papaya and the pool area here. And so we're just going to walk into the lobby, and we're going to see Luis here, our receptionist. And you can already see what Kirsten described. This is not your regular hotel. This is a collection of art, a collection of very special things. Just for example, this desk here used to belong to a Costa Rican president, and is now sitting here Elizabeth was able to acquire that. And I'm gonna walk out here. Looks like somebody's just arriving. Look at those columns here on both sides of this roof where you arrive. They were in the same shipment when people came in, when the materials came in for the National Theater in San Jose. And also, if you look at the bikes here, this is what Kirsten was describing. They're ready for you, and you can just go out and explore this beautiful ride. I'm gonna walk to the restaurant now, and have a couple of people I want you to meet. So this would be as I was going to the rooms, but I'm gonna take a detour here and head towards the Papaya restaurant. Later, then we'll also go to the Lime Beach Club, and you can join me there for a drink and some local food. I also, need to compliment Kirsten. I mean, she did such a great job of describing the uniqueness of this area. It's just, we've been so successful and so blessed that all the Costa Ricans that have visited us in the last few months, because Costa Ricans love this part of the country. They come here, and again, just showing you some of the quirk details and art. And I'm going to walk over and show you the person who's actually responsible for all of this. This is Elizabeth. Hola, Elizabeth. Buenos días.
How are you?
Elizabeth is the owner of Aguas Claras. She's the master brain behind all of these beautiful things. And so I just have a quick question for you, Elizabeth. What inspired you to come to Puerto Viejo and to create this wonderful piece of art that now is a hotel?
It's a long story. I have been coming to Puerto Viejo for the last 35 years. And I started coming because my translation part decided to leave San Jose and come and live in Puerto Viejo. So I started coming to Puerto Viejo because of him and his wife. And I fell in love with this paradise. And then I bought a property with a little house that I remodeled, and yes, since then I've been coming like every 2 weeks. Like so.
And before it was the roads were really bad. It was really difficult to get here.
No
right?
water,
No electricity.
no electricity.
It was an adventure.
It was an adventure.
And now
yes.
you can stay in a luxury hotel here,
yes.
right?
I can come and enjoy my patient and Elena, my daughter. And I'm very proud of having Jaguar helping us.
Well, we're very excited. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I always told you this is a piece of art. This is so different, and I'm sure all the agents that are watching this are going to be very impressed once we show them around a little bit more, and they discover a whole new product, because the Caribbean coast was really that popular, right?
Yes, it's been a challenge.
Yeah, always.
But I have, I'm very
I'm faithful.
I'm faithful, and I have always been very positive.
Yes.
About having people starting to come and enjoy with us.
Great.
This beautiful place.
Wonderful.
I hope all of the agents will love. Just trying to sell our place and having people come and enjoy.
Okay, great. Thank you, Elizabeth. So we're going to continue the tour and show them all around. And if any of you have any questions for Elizabeth, you can send them in, and then we can get it to her later today, and I'll send the answers back to Kirsten. Okay.
Great. Bye.
Okay. So we got the bar here. This is the restaurant. There's an open kitchen concept. So we're just going to take a look into the kitchen. I can see the team at work here. Hello. This guy is actually Andres Morataya. I don't know. He's here for a couple of weeks. He's what we call a culinary consultant. So at Cayuga, for all the hotels, we bring people in that help us, design the menus, train the staff. So he started first working with us in Panama at Isla Palenque. He's responsible for the great food and beverage concept in Panama. and then helped us also in Jicaro, in Nicaragua, and now is here. He's a real, Central American person. He's from Guatemala, grew up in Costa Rica, and now lives in Panama. So, Andres, welcome. We got some, agents from around the world here, mostly from the United States.
Awesome.
What do you think of the food in the Caribbean here of Costa Rica?
It's amazing. I think it's the most interesting food in the whole country. Just because of the mix of cultures, flavors, influences is amazing. It's incredible how you're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the jungle, but the type of clientele that comes, they're all foodies. The standard is high. I think there's probably a better culinary scene in a tiny little village in the middle of the Caribbean than in many major cities in Central America. So it's really cool.
Okay, great. All right, so they're making lunch right now. Looks like there's some fried chicken, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
today's wings for the staff.
Wings for the staff. So they're making the staff food. So it's wings. It's cool.
Very good.
Very good. Thank you, Andres.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to the reception, and I'm gonna ask. I'm just gonna go on mute so I can call them, and I'm asking somebody to take a video of me walking around, so I'm not, shaking so much, and it's not gonna be so crazy. One second. Okay. So let's see. I'm back on camera. So I'm gonna walk to the Pavlova Suites now. Like Kirsten said, we were fully booked last night, which of course is wonderful. And it wasn't just locals. It was about 50% locals. The other 50% were Americans, brave Americans that discover this part and go beyond just to Guanacaste, Four Seasons, Arenal, the usual suspects. And so we're very excited to have them here on the Caribbean coast. And most of the people that come here actually extend their stay. I just had an American couple. They say they're going to go to Guanacaste, but they actually decided to extend their stay. So right now we have these are the Pavlova Suites. As you can see, there are 6 rooms, all right next to each other, and they're being cleaned right now. There's still a guest in there, so unfortunately I can't go in. We thought the guests would have checked out by now, but
Hans, if I can...
actually,
oh,
no, maybe we can. Let's see. ¿Cuál es la que está disponible? Okay, no, actually there's another one that's already, so it's not.
Hans, I'm going to interrupt just for a second. We have wonderful photographs of all these rooms. These were just designed by Elena, the daughter, Elizabeth's daughter. And so they have this really modern, funky vibe to them. White walls, white bedding, but really bright pops of color, all of the original.
Okay.
And we'll follow up with the webinar.
Yeah. Okay, so the guests are still in the room. I'm sorry I can't show you the room here. We're gonna sneak in, just peek in here.
It's a good problem.
This is the one where the guests just walked out. It's the bed. We're just cleaning it. It's got a area to sit here, and then the bathrooms are outdoor. Behind those, where she's just closing the door. But like Kirsten says, we have great photos of that. So, Luis, may I ask you to? This is Luis. He's our receptionist and also a guide. So I'm gonna ask him to film me as I'm walking. So just gonna turn this over to you. We're good? Okay, so I'm not wearing a mask because we're outside and we're gonna keep our distance, and so you can hear me better. So we're gonna start walking through the gardens, which you'll find really beautiful and lush, and then we'll come to the and then we'll come to the other room that I can't show you because we have one room that we're able to clean on time. So as we're walking through these lush gardens, it's all native plants. It's as Elizabeth would say, it's an unorganized organization. So it's very very not very neat, because we want really the wildlife to be in here and to live it. By the way, here's another room, the Magnolia. This is one of the bungalows. It's occupied right now, so we can't go there. But you see how those traditional Caribbean houses are put in the middle of the vegetation, and it really is an amazing experience to sit out on those decks and just enjoy this Caribbean experience. And it's very hot right now. It's very sunny, as you can see. People always say, well, it always rains on the Caribbean coast. Well, it does rain quite a bit on the Caribbean coast, but it doesn't always rain. And since it does rain so much here, everything is always lush and green. So year round, you really see this absolute green season. So we're gonna go to a room that's called Pacquare. It's one of the bungalows. It's really beautiful especially because of its private bathroom that it has in the back. So we're gonna go in here. Just look at this store. Take a look at this store. This is all those details and all those things that Elizabeth as an artist just comes up with that are amazing. So please join me. Come in. So we have here, this is the room. It's got the king size bed, of course. It's got on this side, it's got the two single beds can be put in together as one bed. Somebody additional is gonna sleep there or just be used as a day bed. But my favorite thing is, you walk out here and you have this amazing bathroom experience, right? So all of this outdoors is the bathroom. What you see here is a living wall. These are all plants, against the wall. I'm standing here under the shower, which is, very open and free. And then you have all of this area to just hang out, the little mini bar and all of that, which is just really, quite special. Kirsten, how we're doing? You seeing everything okay? Hearing me okay?
Yeah, hearing great. I would maybe just slow down the walking a little bit to keep it smoother. But
okay.
We had someone ask about bungalows. How
Move
many
really slow.
I just wanted to reiterate, there are 6 of these standalone bungalows that are either 1 or 2 bedrooms. Pacquare, this one is actually the newest that was just built last year, and it's great for a couple of friends or families. So there's 6 of these standalone bungalows done in the Caribbean style. There are 6 suites of the Pavlova Suites, that first row of buildings, row of rooms in that building that we were at. One of those is wheelchair accessible. And then there's 1 5-bedroom house, Casa Floralia, which is occupied, has a full working kitchen upstairs, outdoors. Each of the bathrooms has an ensuite bath. It's 2 stories. As you can see, they're all private. They're all kept very private by the lush vegetation that surrounds them. And there's, I think, how many acres this property is, but you have a lot of space to spread out. So I'm going to turn it back over to Hans so he can show you the yoga shala where they set up a romantic dinner last night.
Yeah, so last night we had a romantic dinner set up, but this is the yoga shala. So we offer yoga here. You can see a little pond. It's very nice setting, very zen. So we've had yoga retreats here, mostly with locals right now. But definitely would be great to have international yoga retreats here as well. We call this also a multi-purpose room. So we could set up a wedding or an event or a dinner for a group of people. But definitely good to have this space available. So we're gonna continue walking to the beach now. So it's gonna take us a little while. We'll be walking through these lush gardens again, and then out through a gate on a little dirt road. Will take us to the beach. So as we walk here, this might be a good time to answer maybe some of your questions. So Kirsten, if you want to throw some questions at us, we could do that now.
Sure. Shazafel asked, are all of the bathrooms and toilets outside?
No, they're not. This is the only one, actually. The others are all more inside. Well, no, I'm sorry. In the Pavlovas, in the 6 rooms, the bathrooms are outside, but in the other bungalows, the bathrooms are inside.
Yeah, and then in the Pavlova Suites also, they're not fully outside. It's kind of like a 3-step room. I'll send you a blueprint or of the footprint of the room so you can see it. There's the indoor living space, and then there's a covered outdoor space where you have the toilet and the sink, and then you walk out to this little patio that's also covered where you have these beautiful showers with Moroccan tile. And then in all of the bungalows, the bathrooms are indoors with showers, en suite and very private. And all of the rooms have air conditioning. Somebody asked about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to show you quickly. This is a cacao plant, right? So all of this area here used to be a cacao plantation until a fungus or some disease, made it not viable to plant the cacao anymore. But there's some left over. So there's, you can see some cacao fruit growing here as a leftover from before. So I just wanted to point that out because that's also part of the history of this area. And you just saw the fountain in the back. That fountain also was brought in from France when they did the National Theater. So it also got rescued, and Elena placed it here. It's, as you can see, it's maybe not what you expect in a hotel in the middle of the tropics, but those little touches just make it so fun and so interesting, right? We're headed out now through the gate. So I'm gonna just get the little card from Luis here. So every guest with their key card can open this gate here. Theoretically. Okay. Here, give me the camera. Okay, little glitch here. Yeah, you'll get it. Okay, so we're gonna be stuck here for a little while, just because Luis has to get another card that his card doesn't work for the gate. So again, a chance to answer some more questions. I'll leave.
Let's go by the fountain and answer a few that are coming in. So we talked about the bathrooms. All of the rooms have air conditioning. I just wanted to mention that again as well.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi, and they all have writing desks too, which I love. Elena and Elizabeth have this concept of making it having an artist residency program at Hotel Aguas Claras. So all of the rooms are really designed to allow you to engage in your creative pursuits while you stay here. We have a question about mosquitoes, Hans, that maybe you can answer, or Luis. What are the mosquitoes like? Any times of year better than others on that front?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there are some mosquitoes like anywhere in the tropics, but I've never, I've stayed here many times, come here all, during different times of the year, and I've never found it something that really gets in the way, So, compared to other destinations where there might be more of an issue, it really isn't, So there are certain times of the year when you might need a little bit more bug spray, but really not an issue.
Yeah, and in terms of the times of year to visit, this part of the country tends to be a little bit dry the second half of the year. So really from like July, August onward, especially August, September, and October, you have really bright and sunny days. Clearly through February, the weather is great right now. But you have really bright sunny days, and you have very calm seas. So if people really want to go snorkeling, that's kind of the best time of year to direct them towards. But it's a great year-round destination. If it rains, it's warm and tropical rain. It's not going to ruin your trip.
It's definitely a great year-round destination. I think that's the most important thing you said. And if somebody's a little bit turned off by the September, October, November rainy season on the Pacific coast, I mean, this is when it's actually the dry season here. So it's reverse. It's crazy. It's just a few hundred kilometers away, and it's completely different weather. And as Kirsten said, the water then is super calm, transparent. Right now, this time of the year when we go out, there might be some waves now, but that makes it this time of the year also a great surfing destination. So that's something that's unique as well. The surfing is also the opposite of what it is on the Pacific. So we're entering this little area here. which leads us to our what we call Beach Club, which is really our beachfront restaurant. It's called The Lime. The Lime in local language, in the local Patois language, means hanging out, having a good time with friends. So this is what we really want to create here, right? You know, that kind of a feeling. So we're gonna take a peek here, you know, to just kind of see, you know, they're setting up. You know, we're open here in the afternoons, you know, at around 11:30 until 5, 6 at night. So we're gonna come back here and have some food and drink, but we're gonna continue down and walk to the beach, because I definitely want to show you the beach, and I hope our signal holds up steady so we can see that. And as you can see, you know, it's always going through this lush vegetation, these amazing trees. Typically they're full of sloths, toucans. This morning I went for a run and I saw sloth, I saw toucan, I saw the macaws, I heard the howler monkeys. Nature is really vibrant here. You know, it's something that really, when you think of Costa Rica, it's something that's really lived here. You know, a bit different from what you experience you might have in Guanacaste. So if you really want that nature and that lushness, you know, it's really a great thing here. So we got a little waiter station here, very rustic, and we are approaching the beach. You can probably hear the waves already, and right now high tide. Tides are not as pronounced here as they are in the Pacific. So right here you can see some of our guests, and you can see some chairs here, you know, that we set up so people can have lunch here, people can have drinks here, you know, be part of the hotel. But be right here. Can you still hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you very clearly.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna let Luis, you know, show you some of the scenery here, and you know, this is about as busy as it gets. You know, it's really, you know, there's not a lot of people here. It's the Caribbean coast is really the best kept secret of Costa Rica. You know, everybody flocks to Guanacaste, everybody flocks to the Pacific, but really this is where the locals come. This is, you know, as Alfonso, the general manager, told me yesterday, this is where the best it's its own country.
Hans, if you can hear me, let's step back towards the Lime a little bit. We're starting to.
You know, it's like, as Kirsten explained, the food is different. And I think that's, you can really tell. When I go back to Costa Rica, but experience something different, you know, this is the place to come. So if that's the message we're getting across to you, then I'm very happy.
And guests of the hotel can have beachfront service here. Maybe if it's not in use, we can show them the lounges that have the QR codes. Where guests,
yeah, they're not set up yet, you know, they're because they're just setting up right now, and people don't have lunch that early, but basically, yes, you know, just Liz, come here. You can see there's a little sign. Today is Monday, 2 for 1 mojitos and margaritas, the Lime Beach Club, from 11 to 4. So there's, yeah, we put out these mattresses with some little benches where you can put your food and you can eat and just hang out here and just be happy and forget about everything that's happening in the world and everything that happened last year, and just be happy. Okay, so we're gonna go slowly back to the Lime, to the Beach Club. I'm gonna sit down there, order a drink and something to eat, and then we can answer some more questions and maybe have a conversation if somebody wants to ask a question or make a comment or make a booking maybe. That'd be great. And I know Kirsten's coming on Wednesday, and she's a little bit excited about that. And she's also doing a couple of those events, one from Cura on Monday and one from Senda on Friday. So hopefully you can join her on that, and you can get an idea of what it is like right now at those two wonderful Cayuga Collection hotels. I'm gonna take over. Yeah. This is the lime here in the restaurant. I'm gonna take over the camera again from Luis so he can go back. But I'm gonna ask him a quick question. Luis, sure. You're receptionist, but you're also a nature guide, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So Luis, what are the most popular tours in that people do here when they come to visit Puerto Viejo?
Definitely, well, for me, Cahuita, that is a national park, right? It's a very nice place to go. It's full of animals like monkeys, sloths. It has a very nice beach, and it's just perfect to go and spend like a half day or a little bit more. We also have another national park that is called Manzanillo, and it's also perfect for going and doing some hiking and also enjoying the beautiful forest that we have here in the
and in Cahuita, in certain times of the year, can you you can do snorkeling. I remember I did that with my daughter, and we saw a nurse shark, we saw turtles. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, actually, it's considered as the best place here around the Caribbean, South Caribbean, for doing snorkeling. Of course, when the conditions of the ocean are good, yeah, we normally send people for snorkeling in a boat, and it has a very nice coral. As Hans mentioned, yeah, it has a lot of fishes, snork sharks, coral that is super alive, and it's a very nice protected area. So definitely, it's a most.
And then there's also a great a tour that I did with my family. We were kayaking into the river at Punta Uva, where Columbus landed. What Kirsten was telling.
Yeah, Punta Uva for me, yeah, it's the most beautiful beach that we have here, and it's just like next door to Aguas Claras. So it's actually a walkable distance, but we of course offer like the tour, provide van, bicycles as well if you prefer, and we normally offer like a half day kayaking in a very nice estuary, then a combination with a little walk to a viewpoint where you can see pretty much the whole Caribbean side. So it's very, very nice and full of adventure, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Luis. Thanks for being my cameraman. I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, so we're headed to the line. I'm gonna go, you can sit out here, and look at this libellula. You see that libellula? You see this? Anyway, so this is, you can sit out here, or, oh look, Felix is just taking one of those mattresses with a bench out, because I guess somebody just requested lunch. So we're taking that out, and people can hang out there. I'm gonna say hello in the kitchen. Hola. It's our little beachfront kitchen, and I'm gonna go upstairs and see what I can get here. Puedes bajar la música un poquito. So, look at that. Look at this. That looks awesome. It looks like a tuna poke they did for me, and some kind of a drink that I'm gonna try soon. But before we go there, just wanted to show you the view from up here. You can see through the trees towards the ocean, and it's a nice breeze up here. It's very, very pleasant right now. So I think I'm gonna spend the rest of my day here. Probably not. I have budget meetings. Anyways, so
okay, thanks, Hans.
Yeah. Anyways, that's so the idea would be to answer any questions, or or just have a conversation. I love talking to you guys, and I miss seeing you at fairs or here.
Okay, let's see. We talked about the bathrooms. We talked about the mosquitoes. Time of year that's better. The drier season here also coincides with some really cool wildlife events. You have turtles nesting on the Caribbean side. That starts in July and kind of runs through October. So those are green sea turtles in particular. And then you have the raptor migrations that happen in October, when like almost 3 million raptors that migrate between North and South America fly overhead. So the good weather on this side of the country, or the typical good weather, coincides with some really cool wildlife events. Peggy Newfield asks, is the beach private for the hotel? And the answer is no. There's no private beach in Costa Rica. That's written into the laws of the country, that the beaches are for everyone.
Right. But it's the great thing is, this beach is so much fun to people watch. You know, you see Sunday, like last night when I arrived, or yesterday in the afternoon when I arrived, you see local families, you see, it's very democratic. It's very Costa Rica. It's not this, you know, private beach, and it's very easygoing. You know, see families, you see couples, you see people just hanging out, walking along the beach. And so to a certain degree, it is private, you know, because we have the access here, and, you know, it's right there. But at the other hand, we're part of the community, and that's really important.
Another question that was great was about, okay, so Lisa just asked, is there a water filtration system for tap water? And yes, that's actually standard in all of the Cayuga Collection hotels, and in Costa Rica, you can drink from the tap just fine.
Right, yeah. The water, you know, the water is delicious. It's filtered with UV filters and sand filters and all kinds of things. As Kirsten says, this is a Cayuga standard. For over 10 years, we haven't served plastic straws, plastic, you know, bottles. Here, as you can see, the straw is obviously bamboo. You see it? Yeah, bamboo straw. No water out of plastic bottles.
Jill Taylor had a great question about, how do you compare this to Santa Teresa? I have my answers, but if you want to go first, Hans.
Yeah, those are the two hot places right now in Costa Rica. You know, they're or, you know, no, I wouldn't say hot places. They're the two places that people are talking about. I think, how do I compare those? I think Santa Teresa is a little bit artificial. You know, there's no town, everything is brought in by foreigners, you know, to create something there that's a little bit artificial. Here you have culture, you have depth, you have local people, you have local food. We used to run a hotel in Santa Teresa, Latitude 10, before it got bought by Napa, not Napa Valley, Silicon Valley mogul, and now it's a private home. But, you know, it's a beautiful beach, it's a beautiful area, but, you know, we would always have a hard time finding local staff, because there was nobody for them to live. There wasn't really like a town. Here you have the town, you have the local traditions, and it just feels more real. You know, that's my take on it. I don't know, Kirsten, what were you going to say?
Well, and then just visually, this part of Costa Rica is super dense tropical forest. So you have like every shade of green, from dark emerald to like chartreuse and lime, in the forest year round. Whereas the Nicoya Peninsula is tropical dry forest. So during the dry season, a lot of the trees are shedding their leaves. And then the other thing is the water. The Pacific water is typically not clear. Great surfable beach breaks, but here on the Caribbean, you have that like turquoise clear water and coral, where you can, you know, do tropical snorkeling. The coral reefs right outside of Playa Chiquita, which Hans was just at, are so fun for kids. Like, the water is shallow, the waves are really gentle, and adults, anyone. You can play in there all day and see so many fish, which you would not.
I do want to, yeah, Kirsten, I do want to say though that there are certain times, you know, and it's really hard to predict which times that it can be quite rough here though. You know, I mean, we can have you know, 2-3 days of rough sea, you know, not turquoise waters. So there is a bit of a gamble. It's not a 100% hit. You know, there's a little bit of hit and miss with that. So I don't want to promise these turquoise waters and gentle waves year round. The best, you know, I think the months that are maybe the most difficult to predict is December, January. Those are the months that are typically the roughest here in the Caribbean. The other months are pretty good. You know, you have a pretty good chance. But December, January, are the months that might be a bit difficult, which is, which makes it a tricky sell for festive, right? It can be really great, like it was this year, or it can be not so great, and so that's something to keep in mind. But anytime between February and November, you have a very good chance of having a great experience for your guests.
We have a question from George Duffy. He asked, what are the medical provisions for malaria, dengue, and COVID, etc.?
Okay. So let's see. Malaria, no more malaria in Costa Rica from, for a while. So that's the good news. In terms of dengue, that's still around. Put on repellent, be a little bit careful without that. But it hasn't really been a big issue, in the past couple years, because people are more aware of not having containers with standing water. There's been a big campaign to improve that. But that's anywhere in the tropics is an issue. And COVID, well, one of the things that really I keep telling people for the past several months now, since we opened here in June, is, one of our biggest advantages is everything's outside. I mean, you've seen everywhere I've taken you, with the exception of inside that room was outside. So being outside just makes a huge difference. But all of our staff is wearing masks all the time. We have alcohol in gel, hand washing, the usual things, higher cleaning standards. We've had cases of COVID here where a massage therapist had COVID and gave massages to several guests, but none of those guests got COVID because that massage therapist went through all the protocols. This is a horrible experience we had very early when we reopened in about June, July. So I had to call all those guests and ask them to please take a test. It was very uncomfortable, but it was an early wake-up call for us that this is real. We have to be really serious with our measures. Thank God nobody was infected, and it showed us that our protocols and everything that we do work. So we feel very confident about having guests at our hotels during these times of COVID. Because we're working really hard on keeping everybody safe. And the good news is the cases in Costa Rica have come down dramatically in the last few weeks. The schools are reopening. Were reopening last week. They're talking about lifting more and more regulations. There really aren't any regulations. I mean, I've been on the phone this weekend with friends in the States and in Europe, and what they're going through is not comparable to what we're living here. I mean, our quality of life here in Costa Rica is amazing, and I think that's where, the tourists that come right now say, I mean, I can't believe this. I feel safe, I feel normal, I feel happy, I feel alive, and that really is just a great thing.
Lisa Blitz asked about the pool, is it heated or salt water? I know it's chemical free, and you really wouldn't need a heated pool here. It's pretty warm.
No. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I've actually had guests at another hotel ask if we could dump a few ice cubes in the pool because it was too hot. So yeah, that's not an issue here.
And then I had a question about the tours. Are they an added cost? Yes, they are. There are some tours that are included at the hotel, or some experiences. They'll do cooking workshops sometimes. They'll do garden walks. If you have guests that are into botany and horticulture, they'll do a morning walk through those incredible gardens, pointing out different plants and animals. Are you still offering the yoga complimentary, or is that on hold for the moment?
It's on hold right now, but it's going to come back soon.
Okay, so there's oftentimes, and probably in the next month or so, they'll start offering these morning complimentary yoga classes in the yoga shala. But we have a whole excursions book that has the costs and descriptions. I'll send that to you. And absolutely, yes, they can arrange transfers to Limon, to the airport. Even if you have guests who want to do a historical tour of Limon, that can be arranged as well. And let's see. People are asking about how to book. Of course, you can book direct, and you can also book through your DMC. My recommendation is, if you're trying to piece together a Caribbean itinerary, a comprehensive one for guests, is to work with a DMC, someone who has really good guides who know the region well and can escort your guests to Tortuguero, do a Limon tour, down to Puerto Viejo. But I'll send some recommendations and follow-up info in an email. And if you have questions about who to work with, I'd say, it's more about who you have a relationship with. But you can always reach out to me directly about that. And can you recommend a property in Tortuguero?
Tortuguero right now has, a lot of the places have closed because they receive a lot of groups, so there are some changes right now. There's some properties being purchased, being sold. At this point in time, I cannot recommend anything, but I think that's gonna change in the next few months, as things will reopen again. So right now, Tortuguero is a little bit tricky because you go on those boats and there's usually groups together. But for now, I think that the itinerary that Kirsten talked about of Pacquare River, Puerto Viejo, and actually you can connect this quite easily through the back road that has been improving really well with the Arenal area. So you can kind of go from here on the back road on the other side of the mountain, which is a beautiful drive. I did it a couple of weeks ago when I was at Origins Lodge, like through the back Arenal, and so you can connect that with there quite well as well. So you can really, take somebody from Guanacaste through the back to Arenal down here, and then connect them through San Jose into the Central Pacific. If you have like a 2-3 week itinerary, somebody that really wants to get to know the whole country, that'd be great. But also, one of the things that I absolutely love is the idea of a coast to coast. I think Aguas Claras would make a great combination with Cura in Uvita, where you can have breakfast here in the morning, take a plane, maybe a charter plane from Limon, land in Manuel Antonio, and then you're up in Cura, having drinks in the afternoon, having lunch in the afternoon. I think that would be a spectacular honeymoon itinerary or something like that. So, you guys are the creative ones. I'm sure you figure out, great combinations and great ways to put this all together.
We had another question about Tortuguero. I'll take this one. Somewhere to stay or a day trip. Definitely want to stay there. I wouldn't do it as a day trip. It'd be a little bit too many logistics to go through the day. And like Hans said, it's these intercoastal waterways. So a lot of the touring you're doing is by boat, and a lot of the lodges run their own tours. The owners of Pacquare Lodge, who also own La Barrios now, they've recently purchased a property that was owned by Costa Rica Expeditions in Tortuguero. They took over management of it. I don't know. It is open and operating now, so that would be my recommendation there. But we'll be able to follow up with more information on that. And then just to reiterate, Hotel Aguas Claras, is it romantic? Is it somewhere for couples? Absolutely, yes. That's part of the reason it was booked out for Valentine's Day weekend, which is celebrated in Costa Rica. It is not adults only like Cura. It's open to families with children 8 and older. But as you can tell from the decor, from all of these little details, like the handmade ceramics, I think it'd be super cool to go with teenagers or older kids who are into Wes Anderson, who are into design, but definitely not a place for rambunctious toddlers.
Yeah, no, like you say, teenager, like 12 and up is ideal. The little funky town of Puerto Viejo, you can buy there's these stands, you buy little jewelry, go eat some local food, just do some people watching, buy some funky clothes. It's definitely for families with a little bit older children. It's ideal.
Any other questions? We're over an hour now, which is awesome that you
already.
That you I did want to do a quick plug. We forgot to go and see it, but there is a really cool gift shop.
Oh yeah, we forgot. Yeah.
It's curated by Elena, and everything in there is created by Costa Rican locals. So like jewelry, really cool fabric bags, different bath products. I'm going to do a little plug for Aroma Flor. You can't see that with my background, is a company in Costa Rica that makes these essential oils. This is their lavender, and it's so good. So I have this from the last time I was at Hotel Aguas Claras, but I'll send some pictures of it. I think for clients who want, they don't want souvenirs, they want like really unique products of the place. You can even get jewelry that Elizabeth, the owner you saw, handmade. It's a really cool store. I love it.
You notice the disco ball behind me?
Yeah.
Just really quirky, fun stuff.
Okay, great. Well, if there aren't any other questions, Yeah, I think that's all. I think we covered it. So thank you all for joining. The next one I will be doing from Costa Rica is this coming Friday from La Barrios. And then the following week, I will be at Cura and showing you that hotel, and then send to Monteverde after that. So I'll follow up with the Q&A, some good resources. And again, you have my email. If you need anything at all, please just reach out. But thank you so much for joining us. We had a lot of fun with this, and we'll let Hans go and eat his poke.
Look at this, delicious. Nice. Okay, yeah. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on a holiday, working extra. You get double pay on if you work on holidays. So looking forward to hopefully seeing you soon again down here.
Thank you, Hans.
Bye, okay, everyone. Bye.